Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you're part of our journey. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and get ready for a story that will leave you thinking. And if you love inspiring tales, a like goes a long way. The footsteps behind her grew louder. 3 men laughing too loud for 2 a.m. in an empty parking garage. Anna clutched her phone tighter, thumb hovering over the emergency call button. The security guard at his desk pretended to be engrossed in his own device, eyes deliberately avoiding the scene unfolding 50 feet away. She quickened her pace, heels echoing against concrete. The garage's fluorescent lights flickered, casting long shadows across the nearly empty level. Her car waited in the far corner, each step toward it feeling impossibly slow. The men's voices bounced off concrete walls, words becoming clearer, more targeted. The security guard adjusted his position, turning further away from the situation. Anna's heartbeat matched her quickening steps, keys now clutched between trembling fingers. 20 more steps to her car. The men closed the distance, 15 steps. Their laughter stopped, replaced by something more focused, more threatening. 10 steps. From 3 spaces away, the trunk of a black Porsche opened, and a man in a dark suit emerged from the shadows. The garage fell silent except for Anna's heels against concrete. If this moment made you feel something, imagine what's coming next. Hit that like button and stay with us. Subscribe now. Anna recognized him instantly. Keanu Reeves, his silhouette unmistakable even in the dim garage lighting. He glanced between her and the approaching men, understanding the situation without a word. The security guard finally looked up, eyes widening not at the harassment unfolding but at the celebrity now standing 20 feet away. The men slowed their pursuit, uncertain now that they were no longer alone with their target. They exchanged glances, recalculating their approach. Keanu closed his trunk quietly, car keys dangling from his fingers. He didn't speak, didn't announce himself, just started walking, not toward his driver's door but on an intercepting path between Anna and her pursuers. His movement was calm but deliberate, creating a physical barrier without aggression. One of the men snickered, nudging his friend. They hadn't recognized the actor yet, seeing only another obstacle. The security guard stood now, finally stirring from his post, phone still in hand, but now raised slightly, camera app open. "Hey buddy, mind your own business," the tallest of the 3 men called out, his voice echoing in the concrete space. "We're just having a conversation with our friend here." The other 2 laughed, spreading out slightly, creating a semicircle that still blocked Anna's path to her car. The security guard took a hesitant step forward, then stopped, visibly torn between his job and his sudden awareness of who was involved. Phone screens lit up. The guard wasn't the only one recording now. Keanu didn't respond to the taunt, continuing his steady approach until he stood 10 feet from Anna. "Is everything okay?" he asked her, voice quiet but carrying in the garage's acoustics. He kept his attention on her, not the men, ignoring their posturing completely. The question hung in the air, simple but loaded. Anna swallowed hard, straightening her shoulders. The largest man stepped forward, irritation flashing across his face at being dismissed. "Hey, I'm talking to you," he growled, taking another step toward Keanu. In the harsh, fluorescent light, Anna saw recognition dawn on the second man's face. He grabbed his friend's arm, whispering urgently. The atmosphere shifted instantly. The third man was already backing away, phone out, camera focused on Keanu. The security guard had abandoned all pretense of duty, openly filming now, mouth slightly agape. 2 other late-night workers emerged from the elevator, stopping abruptly at the tableau before them. A woman in professional attire, 3 men in various stages of realization, and Keanu Reeves standing calmly between them. "I'm okay now," Anna said. voice stronger than she expected. "I wasn't before, but I am now." Her words carried weight in the silent garage, an accusation without naming anyone directly. She looked pointedly at the security guard, who had the decency to flush with embarrassment, though his phone remained raised. The tallest man, now understanding who he'd been threatening, attempted to backpedal. "Hey man, we're huge fans. No problem here, right? Just a misunderstanding." His smile didn't reach his eyes as he nudged his friends backward. "Things are about to take a turn. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe, like our video, and keep watching." Keanu's expression remained neutral as he turned to face the three men directly for the first time. Misunderstandings don't usually involve following someone through an empty parking garage at 2 in the morning. His voice was measured, soft even, but carried a gravity that silenced the men's nervous laughter. The tallest one, clearly the leader, shifted his weight from foot to foot, caught between backing down and saving face. The security guard had edged closer, all pretense of security forgotten as he positioned himself for a better camera angle. "Look, it's John Wick," someone whispered, and nervous laughter rippled through the small crowd now forming near the elevator. More phones appeared, recording the confrontation. The three men became increasingly aware of their audience, of the multiple cameras capturing their faces. The leader's cocky smile faltered. "We were just heading out," he muttered, jerking his head for his friends to follow. But Keanu stepped forward, closing the distance between them with 2 calm strides. He wasn't physically imposing, wasn't threatening, but something in his presence made the three men freeze. "I think you owe this woman an apology," Keanu said, still in that same quiet voice. The garage had gone completely silent, every word crystal clear in the concrete echo chamber. "Not because I'm here, not because people are watching, but because what you were doing was wrong." The simplicity of the statement hung in the air, impossible to argue with. The leader glanced around, realizing that every exit from this situation required public humiliation. "Sorry," the leader mumbled, barely audible, eyes fixed on the concrete floor. Keanu said nothing, waiting. The silence stretched uncomfortably. "I said, I'm sorry," the man repeated, louder this time, glancing at Anna. The apology was perfunctory, empty, a performance for the cameras rather than genuine remorse. One of his friends nudged him, whispering something that made him scowl before adding, "It won't happen again." The small crowd by the elevator had grown to nearly a dozen people, whispers and phone cameras creating a soft background noise that filled the garage. The security guard had abandoned all pretense of maintaining order, positioning himself for a selfie angle that would capture both his face and Keanu in the background. Anna stood straighter now, the fear replaced by righteous anger as she watched the men's hollow apology. She took a step forward, finding strength in Keanu's quiet presence beside her. "You're not sorry you did it," she said clearly, her voice carrying across the garage. "You're sorry you got caught. And you—" She turned to the security guard, whose phone lowered slightly under her direct gaze. "You saw everything and did nothing. You were too busy pretending not to notice." The guard's face flushed deep red, visible even in the garage's poor lighting. Murmurs spread through the watching crowd. Someone clapped briefly before the sound died away in the awkward tension. The three men edged backward toward the exit ramp, eager to escape the growing public scrutiny. The security guard's embarrassment quickly morphed into defensive anger. "I was about to step in," he insisted, pocketing his phone, "and I can't be everywhere at once. This isn't even my regular section." The excuses rang hollow in the concrete space. A woman from the watching crowd called out, "We all saw you looking right at them and doing nothing." More voices joined in agreement. The guard's supervisor emerged from the stairwell, drawn by the commotion, face a mask of confusion as he took in the scene. Keanu placed a gentle hand on Anna's shoulder, a silent gesture of support. "The problem," he said, addressing no one and everyone, "isn't just what these men did. It's that we've created a world where ignoring someone in danger feels like the safer choice." His words weren't accusatory but contemplative, thoughtful in a way that made several onlookers lower their phones, suddenly self-conscious about their role as spectators rather than participants. The supervisor approached cautiously, recognition flickering across his face as he realized who was standing in his parking garage. He looked between Anna, the security guard, the retreating men, and the celebrity in their midst, trying to piece together what had happened. "Is there a problem here?" he asked, the standard security question sounding absurd in the context. Anna laughed, a short, sharp sound without humor. There was. There absolutely was. The three men had reached the exit ramp, walking backwards, still unwilling to turn their backs completely. This story is only getting deeper. What would you do in this situation? Comment below, and let's talk. The supervisor's arrival shifted the dynamic once again. As he listened to Anna's account, his face hardened. He turned to the security guard, voice low but perfectly audible in the hushed garage. "Wait in my office." It wasn't a request. The guard opened his mouth to object, then closed it, shoulders slumping as he trudged toward the security office. The three men had paused at the exit ramp, watching the scene unfold, uncertain whether they were free to leave. "Those three," Anna said, pointing toward the men. "They followed me from the elevator, made comments about what they'd do if they caught me alone." Her voice shook slightly, but she continued. "Your guard saw everything and pretended to be busy with his phone." The supervisor's expression darkened further as he signaled to another security officer who had just arrived, pointing toward the three men. "Nobody leaves until police take statements," he said firmly, loud enough for everyone to hear. The leader of the group stepped forward, panic replacing his earlier bravado. "Come on, man, we apologized already. It was just a joke." His protests echoed hollowly in the concrete structure. Phones recorded his every word, his every expression. What had started as three men intimidating a lone woman had transformed into a public spectacle of accountability, with dozens of witnesses and digital evidence. Keanu remained beside Anna, a steady presence as the supervisor radioed for police assistance. "Just a joke," Anna repeated, voice rising. "You think terrorizing a woman alone at night is funny?" The watching crowd murmured in support. A woman stepped forward from the group. "They did the same thing to me last week," she said, addressing the supervisor. "I reported it to your security team and nothing happened." Another voice joined in. "I've seen them here before, hanging around the elevator to the tech floors." The isolated incident was rapidly revealing itself as a pattern, one that had been ignored until it happened in front of someone famous. Keanu cleared his throat quietly, drawing attention without raising his voice. "Maybe instead of focusing on phones and videos right now, someone could walk with this woman to her car." He gestured toward Anna with a gentle nod. The simple suggestion cut through the spectacle, reminding everyone of the actual person at the center of the drama. The supervisor immediately nodded, signaling to a female security officer who stepped forward. The crowd parted as the two women moved toward Anna's car, the original purpose of her journey across the garage finally remembered. As Anna and the female officer walked away, Keanu turned to address the three men directly. "You know what's interesting?" he said, voice still soft but carrying in the garage's acoustics. "I've played characters who solve problems with violence, but in real life, real courage isn't about threatening the vulnerable. It's about protecting them." He wasn't grandstanding, wasn't playing to the cameras. His words were measured, thoughtful. "When I heard those footsteps behind me, I was afraid," Anna called back, pausing by her car. "That's not a joke. That's reality for women every day." Police arrived within minutes, their presence further transforming the parking garage from a site of harassment to one of justice. Officers took statements from Anna, the witnesses, and, reluctantly, from the three men who had nowhere to escape. The security guard was escorted back from the office, face ashen as he realized the full consequences of his inaction. Throughout it all, Keanu remained, not as the celebrity whose presence had catalyzed the response, but as the citizen who had simply chosen not to look away. "Mr. Reeves, if we could get your statement as well," an officer requested, notepad ready. As Keanu described what he'd witnessed, the leader of the three men interrupted from where he was being questioned. "This is ridiculous. It's her word against ours, and everyone's just believing her because of him." He jabbed a finger toward Keanu. The outburst hung in the air for a moment before the supervisor stepped forward. "Actually, it's her word, plus Mr. Reeves, plus our security cameras." He pointed to the ceiling where several black domes were mounted among the pipes and fluorescent lights, "which I've already pulled footage from." The revelation silenced the man mid-protest. The garage fell quiet except for the officers' radios and the soft sound of statements being recorded. The supervisor turned to address the small crowd that remained. "I want to thank everyone who spoke up tonight," he said, voice carrying across the concrete space, "and to apologize that our security failed." He looked directly at Anna, who stood by her car door, keys in hand, but not yet leaving. "This won't happen again on my watch." It was the kind of promise often made in moments of public scrutiny. But tonight, with every word recorded on dozens of phones, with a celebrity witness, with police taking formal statements, it carried weight. "It's not over yet. The best part is coming. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it." As the police finished taking statements, the garage began to empty. The three men were escorted to separate patrol cars, their earlier bravado replaced by subdued compliance. The security guard who had failed to act was suspended on the spot, his supervisor making the decision publicly to underscore the seriousness of the neglect. People lingered, watching the resolution unfold, many still recording discreetly despite having lowered their phones earlier at Keanu's gentle reminder of priorities. Anna stood by her car, exhaustion evident in her posture now that the adrenaline was fading. She had given her statement, answered the officer's questions, identified the men who had followed her. The female security officer remained beside her, a quiet presence of support. Keanu approached after finishing with the police, moving without the urgency of crisis now. "Would you like me to follow you home?" he asked simply, no presumption in the offer. "Make sure you get there safely." The question touched Anna deeply, not because it came from a celebrity, but because it acknowledged that safety wasn't just about this moment in the garage, but the entire journey home. She shook her head. "Thank you, but the police offered an escort." She hesitated, then added, "I didn't expect anyone to help." Even after all those campaigns about being an active bystander when it actually happened, she left the thought unfinished, the reality of what had transpired speaking for itself. Keanu nodded, understanding filling the space where words would be inadequate. "Sometimes the simplest acts take the most courage," he said finally. "Not looking away, standing beside someone, speaking up." He glanced around the garage, now largely empty save for the remaining officers and security personnel. Tonight changed because people were willing to see what was happening and name it. The supervisor approached, extending his business card to Anna. "Ms. Davis, I've pulled the security footage for the police, but I'd also like you to know we're implementing immediate changes to our protocols." His tone carried a sincerity born from genuine shock at what had transpired under his management. No employee will keep their position if they ignore a situation like yours again. He looked at Keanu briefly, then back to Anna. I'm truly sorry this happened here. Outside, the 3 patrol cars pulled away, carrying the men who had thought their intimidation would go unchallenged like so many times before. Social media was already lighting up with videos and accounts of what had transpired. #Keanu intervenes trending within minutes. But in the garage itself, away from the viral spread of the story, something more fundamental had shifted. The supervisor was already on his phone, arranging for additional security staff and revising protocols. The consequences immediate and tangible. Anna finally opened her car door, the simple act of reaching her destination a victory after what had transpired. Thank you, she said to Keanu, the words inadequate for what his intervention had meant. He smiled, that familiar, slightly melancholic Keanu smile that had graced countless films. We all have to look out for each other, he replied, no hint of celebrity in his tone, just human connection. As he walked back to his own vehicle, several people approached him with phones out seeking selfies or videos. He politely declined, gesturing toward Anna's departing car. Tonight wasn't about me, he said simply. It was about not looking away when someone needs help. The words spread through social media, alongside the videos of the confrontation, transforming what could have been simply a celebrity sighting into a powerful message about intervention and responsibility. By morning, the incident had gone viral, not just because Keanu Reeves was involved, but because it touched something universal, the hope that someone would step up when we're vulnerable, and the challenge to be that someone for others. News outlets picked up the story, interviews were requested, think pieces were written, but perhaps the most significant change happened quietly, in that parking garage, where new security procedures were implemented overnight, and where the following evening, 3 security guards actively patrolled the space, making eye contact with every person who entered. Small changes, human choices, rippling outward from one moment when someone chose not to look away. Wow, what a story! If this moved you, imagine what else we have for you. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let us know what you think.